Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Live Team Alliance training session for Monday, January 27th. Time right now is approximately 10:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before we get started with tonight's training, as usual, I'd like to welcome our new students. Those of you joining us in training for the first time, whether you're in attendance with us live or you're watching the replay of this, you have definitely made a wise decision choosing to train with us. There's going to be a great deal of information that's going to be shared with you regarding the markets and the way that we interpret the markets and what we do specifically with that information. Primarily the way that we interpret the environment and behavior of the market, which plays a major role with the way that we ultimately take trades on the platform that we use. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can see the platform. So this is the Nadex platform that I'm on. The instrument that we trade in particular is the 5-minute binary options on this platform. There are various markets available to trade within the 5-minute binaries. My recommendation to you is whatever market you're already comfortable with. If you're coming from Forex or you're coming from Nadex already, whatever you are used to is what you should stick with. The market that I trade particularly is the euro dollar for right now. The market I've been focusing on since I've been trading Forex in 2004 is the pound dollar. So the majority of the trainings that you'll see, I'm going to be on the pound dollar pair or the pound dollar market. But this framework can be applied to any market, period. Aside from what you're going to learn about the market itself is going to teach you a lot about yourself, because there are certain things that are necessary in order for you to execute the framework properly. Patience and discipline. These are two mandatory things. They are not optional. Without them, regardless of what framework you use, strategy, methodology, whatever you choose to call what you're using at the time, if you don't have patience and discipline when you're dealing with the market, you'll lose anyway. And that's primarily because you're not going to wait. The market requires that you wait until it presents you with what you're waiting for. If you don't wait for it, then how are you going to get in position to take the trade when it comes? You see, so deviation is how people lose. Impatience is how people lose. That's what you're being trained not to do. And as a result of that, what you're going to do, on the contrary, is you're going to start to win all of your trades. So you're here to learn how to stop losing, period. You're not going to lose trades anymore when you follow this protocol, and as you elevate within your patience and your discipline, which are the mindset aspects of what we do. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what it is that we do here. So throughout the training, if you have questions, please feel free to ask whatever your questions are, especially if you are new. Even if you don't know what to ask, you can just ask whatever question might pop into your head, because a lot of the best clarity comes out of questions that new folks ask. All right, so if you've already watched Training 301, as an example, and you have questions from that training or questions regarding the framework, ask your questions. This is the place to ask your questions. For those of you who are new, inside the playlist that I shared with you, there are 3 trainings that you are to begin with: 336, 396, and 301, in that order. Once you get to 301, that is the training in particular that's going to teach you the framework. So everything that you're going to learn about the way that we look at the market, the rules for actually identifying valid setups, understanding environment, understanding behavior, everything we do in the market is going to be taught to you through 301. So what I encourage you to do is to play the training, write your questions down, and then press play again on the training. And just do that repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. Rinse and repeat. And as a matter of fact, what we do with 301 is what I refer to as subconscious training. Meaning that even if you're not looking at the video, you press play and you just listen. You can do this even when you're going to sleep. I encourage you to do that, because that's when your conscious mind is asleep. Your subconscious has no interference and no interruptions in the information going in. It's just going in straight raw, and it's going to record the information. The reason that that's powerful is because at a later time you'll get light bulbs. The light bulbs are when your subconscious brings that information back up, and you for the first time understand it with your brain. And when they meet up together, that's that moment of clarity that we refer to as the light bulb moment. You're going to get a lot of those, okay? But you have to give yourself the time that you need to train. So 301 on repeat, that is what you need to do, okay? All right, so we got, I'm going to go to the pound. I'm going to focus on that tonight. And we are going to be doing the quick glance. I know that you guys really enjoy using the quick glance as a tool. It's very powerful. All right, let me come over to the chat real quick. My question is, how do you get the chart to show up on the bottom of the screen? You mean where the chart is here, like this? On your platform, when you okay, well, first and foremost, do you have the 5-minute boundaries up in this area, in your watch list area? Or I should say in your markets tab, because that's actually where it pops up at. So up here in this area, you have the 5-minute boundaries up here? Okay. You see the little thing that looks like cell phone bars? This little icon? When you click that, it opens up a chart. And when you open up the chart, you can just move it to wherever you want to move it to. So if I wanted, you know, to stretch it out like this, when you go to the end of the chart, you see the little double arrow that appears. When you click that, it lets you size the chart however you want to. You can move it. You can click the top of it, move it around, and you just place it where you want to place it on your platform, and you're good to go. Okay, cool. And what's funny is that we're not even going to use the chart. The irony. So this right here is the actual quick glance that I was referring to earlier. You guys want to do walkthroughs, or y'all just want to do quick glance tonight? I'll let y'all kind of lead me into what y'all want to do. Okay, cool. Quick glance it is. All right, so at the minute and 30 mark, by looking at the pricing on the option, you know immediately what option is relevant and you know what direction is relevant. So just by looking at where price is currently on the GBP USD, you see how the red or the sell price is in the 20s? I know by looking at that the 30.57 strike price is relevant, and when I go and look at the indicative, I'm expecting to see price underneath this strike, which it is. So this is the 3057. Price is underneath that at 30559 right now. The first thing that we're doing is we're waiting to see what the market is actually doing. We need to know what this market looks like. We need to know what the environment of the market is. When I say environment, what am I referring to specifically? Speed. And when we say speed, what speed are we referring to as far as what we're waiting to see? Bingo, micropips. 1 micropip of movement. The micropip is the last digit of the price. So you see the 9? That represents the micropip for the GBP USD. That's where it currently is. It's sitting at 9. Every time that the market moves, that last digit changes. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. And it's either going to increase or decrease by a number. It could be 2. It could be 4. It might be 3, 5, 7. Or it could be 1. The speed that we want to see is 1 micropip. Yes, dominance of 1 micropip of movement. Now, the reason that the quick glance is so powerful is because you're not relying on the chart to actually identify what the market is doing. We're going to be able to recognize the environment. We're going to be able to recognize the behavior, which is how the price is moving. Environment is how fast it's moving. Behavior is how is it moving. In other words, is it moving steadily in one direction and remaining wherever it moves to, or is it doing other stuff? Other stuff can just simply be back and forth, speed bursts. And a speed burst is like a jump in the price, where like right now it's sitting at 5.7. Speed burst would be, it will go from 5.7 down to 5.2. It'll jump by 5 micropips in 1 tick. When you see that type of activity, we're typically at that point within the behavior phase, which is the second phase. So the protocol is broken down into 3 phases, and you'll hear me make reference to the phases, or you'll hear me make reference to environment, behavior. You know, there'll be various words and keywords that'll be used. But you'll begin to understand the terminology as you begin to watch 301. The repetition of that particular training is going to teach you everything that you need to understand what it is that we're doing and what it is that we're saying. Okay? So just, you know, if you're new, just follow along with what you're hearing and seeing, and just try to make sense out of what it is that you're seeing. But if you have a question, interject with your question. $10.15. Was there a video for the 10.15 on the pound? No, right? I don't think there was. I think I heard, or saw rather, Bill mention that. All right, so just doing the quick glance, looking at this, immediately this is dismissed. Why? Why is this dismissed? What's going on? Very good. Ikari said there's no pricing. And Ramon says because of distance. Nico said it's priced out, so you are all correct. Why is there no pricing? Excellent. Excellent. The indicative is sitting in between the two strike prices, meaning the two would-be relevant strike prices. If the indicative is sitting in the middle of that, there would not be pricing on either one. That's why you don't see pricing on either one. If you did see pricing on either one, on one or the other, I should say, what is that telling you? Very good. Akari said speed is on the way. Nico said that it's out of sync. And when you say out of sync, what do you mean by that? What goes on when the market is out of sync? Very good. Timing of behavior is off. What else? What else could be happening that's causing it to not be in sync? That's an awesome answer. It's not stable. Correct. Give me something more specific. As a matter of fact, give me an example of instability that would cause it to present pricing while the indicative is sitting in between two strikes. Akari said speed. And if speed is present, what is likely to take place if you have pricing while it's sitting in the middle? What's likely to take place? Nico said jerk. John said it's getting ready to transition. Akari said slap. Pretty much. Tell me if this is accurate. When you see pricing, when the distance away from both strike prices are that far, where the indicative literally is in the middle, and you have pricing on the options, both options, with a minute left on the binary, the price of the indicative actually will have a tendency to move with either of speed or, what's the other word I'm looking for? What's the other, the drip? Thank you. Velocity. You guys are good. You guys are really good. So with the indicative being in the middle, what's the likelihood of it staying there? Exactly. Exactly. All right, so here we go again. I'm going to actually scan through the pairs. Let me see if I can pick one up that actually has something on it we can take a look at. All right, so the euro dollar, 10.21 strike price. It would be for the sell side, and then we would come over here to the indicative to look at what the option, not the option, what the market is actually doing. So the market is actually hugging the strike price. And the information right now that I'm collecting is just for the purpose of recognizing the phase that we're in on this particular pair. So the market is letting us know pretty much right now what phase it's in. And mind you, you don't have the chart. So this is just from you using your eyes to see what the market is doing. So the euro just now on that binary, what information did it give us just now? Akari said that we're in phase 2. Who agrees with that? Very good. Very good, I agree. So why are you guys saying that phase 1 is confirmed? Because that's what you're saying. If we're in phase 2, that means phase 1 is confirmed, correct? Why? How do you know that? Excellent. That's it. Dominant 1 micropip. That's it. Yep. Ramon said something earlier. He said that the market usually pops towards the direction of the price. I'm assuming that you mean the option price. Is that what you meant when you said that? Okay. And yes, that is typically correct. What happens when there is a lot of unstable behavior, and for a moment the indicative will do that, and then suddenly it will do something else in the opposite direction? What is that more an indication of? Now, mind you, this is during speed. So when the market, in other words, when the market has speed, all right, let me repeat that. The market is moving fast. It's sitting in between 2 strike prices, and there's pricing on the options. Well, in this example, we'll say that there's pricing on both options. Okay. 1 minute, the pricing is on the sell of the top option. And in the flash, now the pricing is on the buy of the same option. What information is that giving you about the market? Akari said stall and pop coming. We'll assume that the market is moving. And that's basically the best response, is instability all over the place. Because the market has more instability than anything. If during the speed that the speed appears to be hiding the behavior first. And you know that speed hides behavior. So when the market is moving fast, 1 minute it might be looking like it's moving in one direction, and then out of nowhere it'll just go the other direction. But you didn't catch it right away because it was moving fast. So you didn't know what it was doing until it did it. And pretty much, yes, that's phase come back later. All right, so on the pound right here, 30.55 on the sell side. Indicative is sitting at 8. Seven. Back to 8. Okay, what phase? Ramon says phase 2. Who agrees with that for the pound? Okay, Akari said might be getting closer, but phase 2. All right, very good. Right, closer to stabilization. Indeed. On the next example, the next binary that comes up, when we run through it, I want you guys to tell me when the binary expires what the candle should look like. This is another good exercise because understanding the dynamic of the market it's really a very elevated level of what a chart does. Like, just think about what a chart is doing. A chart is giving you a visual representation of what the market is doing. But the chart is not the market, right? The chart is just a visual reflection of the market. So what the quick lens is actually doing is giving you photographic memory. You don't realize it's doing that, but this is what you're actually training yourself to do, because you know what direction, you know what it's actually doing, so you know how the candle should look, and that is a remarkable skill to have, because mind you, you're doing that by just looking at numbers. There is no visual. You're the visual. It's the way that you're visualizing what's actually happening in your head. That's how you're going to know what the candle's going to look like. Yes, it's like putting the camera on something. Exactly. Putting the camera and taking a snapshot. And then you go back after and look at the picture. Ramon says, speaking about the time and the speed, under the 130, we measure the speed of the binary to see if it transcends over to the last minute and validate that stability is present in the market. I understand what you're asking. Typically, the timing of any time that we even talk about timing of speed, that reference is more so at the end of the binary. Not even just the last minute. Is at the end of the last minute. Because that's when, in effect, speed came in. Versus speed being present the whole time. Because if it was present the whole time, it would have disqualified that binary. And that binary would not have even been relevant. We just would remain in phase 1 until it slows down. He says, wondering if it goes over the 130 time period too. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And I'm going to come back to that. We're going to do this exercise real quick. All right, so here on the pound, we're looking at the 30.55. So we starting out at 9. So I want you to just follow along with what the numbers are doing. And then we're going to identify how the candle looks. Okay. What color is the candle? Akari said thin red rectangle with no wicks or a black line. Very good. Ramon said red. Adori said should be a solid red candle with no wick. Shani, full hug and strike pretty much. Rich said red solid. All right. And I am in full agreement with Akari because he actually gave two options, and it is going to be one of them. It's either going to be a thin red or it's going to be black. And that's because of how the candles paint. But let's take a look. So we're going to look at the pound, and it's red. All right. So very good. So everybody was right, because everybody said that. What am I looking for? Oh, the rectangle. Let me put this over here. So this right here is the candle. Red candle. Very good. No wicks. Yep. All right. Excellent. Ramon, what did you mean when you said you wonder if it goes over 130? What do you mean by that? He says, I was just thinking how stability could present itself early during the 130, and if it gave us a clue of how the last minute would look like. The market can do that, yeah, absolutely. The market is going to do whatever it wants to do, period. But the nuances are the way that we don't ever get tricked by what the market appears to be doing, right? Sometimes the market looks like it's doing something until it's 10 seconds left. And then during that last 10 seconds of that binary, that's when it's doing whatever it's doing that's off. It might be the speed. It might be speed burst, which is actually instability. But then on top of that, the direction of where that takes place also plays a part, because how that binary ends is ultimately what will determine whether it's going to be the move hold. So the move hold plays its role regardless. How it becomes move hold is the way that we get clarity on the nuances that are taking place at that time. And all nuances don't immediately dismiss the binary. And this is where it kind of gets a little, not funny, but it just gets more interesting, because it's just like how you can have MRMH even when the timing of speed is present, because of when the timing took place. If speed came in after the fact, it doesn't DQ the trade. Or I should say, it doesn't DQ the binary. It only DQs the binary if it comes in advance. If it comes after the fact, and see, this is the equivalent of if you took a trade and you're in the trade, whatever happens after you're in the trade, you have no control over. And this is why it's best to wait for stability to be present ahead of time. That way, when stability is present, you have the base. So now that the base is there, anything that takes place after that will have to conform to the base. Instead of you trying to chase what you think is the base. So it's kind of like chasing the market, hoping that it gets stable. We don't do that. We recognize when it is stable, and then we work backwards. So we know once it's stable, now it has to get in position, has to get in sync. Like there's nothing else that we need other than that. All it got to do is get in position and get in sync. Once it does that, it's bang. So our observation is just to make sure that stability remains present. If we're seeing things that we can detect is an indication of it not being stable, we know, nah, we ain't getting tricked by that. We know exactly what it was. We know exactly what it is. And then we just, once again, rinse and repeat, bring it back to the essence, and we just wait for stability to be present once again. Ikari said, fake MRs, we've seen them plenty of times. Key thing is that the market wasn't stable before. Right. That's it. Stability is king, not a trade setting up out of nowhere. Let's go. Yo, that right there is it. What Ikari just said. Stability is king, not a trade setting up out of nowhere. That's it. That's the trick right there. That's it. Yep, SPP. Stability, position, and pricing. Facts. Ramon says, true, stability will take care of things in the end. All we do is wait for the parameters to sync up. That's it. That's it. Shani says, would you say the market is in phase one most of the time? Would I say for me, or would I say for the average person? Because if it's me, I'm in phase 3 all the time. I can't help it. but what I mean by that is everything has to be present. Look, let me rephrase what I'm saying so that we're clear in what I'm saying. I just said I'm in phase 3 all the time. What do I mean by that? Oh, Mark, you just be applying the parameters? No. As a matter of fact, I'm not even applying the parameters. But remember what phase 3 is. Remember what phase 3. You can't be in phase 3 without 1 and 2 being present and confirmed, right? When we do quick glance, what do I do immediately if there's nothing there? What do I do? Next. So you see how I remain in phase 3 at all times? Because if I'm not in phase 3, it's next. If the market ain't stable, it's going to show me something that says I'm not stable, and it's next. So if it's always next, you always in phase ready. That's probably a better terminology to use. being in phase ready. Phase ready. And even though I'm explaining it, I know that you guys already understood even before I did. Akari said, I think it's you only being around when the market is stable, so you always in phase 3 when you're watching. Subconsciously, yes. Because I see immediately if it's not stable. And if it's not stable, I dismiss instantly. That's how I'm able to multitask. Like you'll see when I'm doing a live stream, just as an example. If I'm on YouTube and we're around in the afternoon, if nothing's going on, what do I say? Nothing. I'm not even talking about the market. We talking about other stuff. And people will think I'm not looking at the market. I am. I'm watching it. But me watching the market means next. It's that simple. I might do a scan or I might run through for purposes of just giving an idea of what the market is currently doing. And you'll hear me say it. I'll run through, I'll be like, you know what? Market is not talking about absolutely nothing right now. Or I might say, market actually looks very good right now. If I say the market looks very good right now, everybody knows what that means. What does that mean? Bingo. It's stable. It doesn't mean, oh, we getting a trade. It means that stability is there. And you know that stability is the prerequisite to a trade coming. So now it's just wait. Just relax. Wait for it to come. When it comes, it comes. If it don't come, it don't come. And either way, we're okay with the outcome that the market presents to us. So it doesn't even make a difference. I know that's like music to your ears, right? Shiny be like, yo, let me open up the phone real quick. Shawnee has said, is the quick glance a shortcut to phase ready or phase 3? The quick glance is I wouldn't even call it a shortcut. I would call the quick glance what we do. Because the quick glance prevents you from doing anything else. That's not what we do. Like you're not gonna be doing a quick glance and then, oh man, this looks good. Oh man, market kind of fooled me on that one. You can't get fooled. There's order. And if the order is not there, there's next. And then it's only next if you still gonna be there watching. If you're not gonna be there watching, I'm out. Like it's so organized. It's total organization. Like complete organization. And that's why for the majority of people, when they're doing everything, it seems to them like they're doing nothing. See, when things are organized, it seems it's like kind of boring. Like, just think about it. When there's order to stuff, it's boring. Chaos is exciting. People are excited when it's chaotic. Oh man, yo, it's a lot going on right now, man. Yeah, it's too much going on. You're gonna get slapped. You all excited, but you about to get slapped. We're not excited. When it comes to observing, there's no excitement at all. It's just rinse and repeat. Nope, it ain't there. Nope, it ain't there. Nope, it ain't there. Getting there. Almost there. Not quite. Not quite. All right, we stable. Let's see if it comes. Stable. Let's see if it comes. Not stable no more. All right, let me go get a sandwich. Like there's just order to it. And all of that keeps you, like that's, all of, everything I'm describing is the no losing part. This is why we don't lose. Because you're not going to get tricked. The market is going to make everything obvious to you when it's ready to pay. Through its behavior, through it positioning itself properly, and through it being in sync. Just like Akari said, SPP. Akari said, I used to be on the charts looking at the market when stability was being presented, binary after binary. Thing is, it was never in position or in sync, so stability really didn't matter. You need all three for the market to present a trade. SPP. Yes. That's what it is. Walker says, I love using the quick glance for position and pricing. The latter ain't even a thought unless I see the market in position. Exactly. Exactly. Someone mentioned that a live stream on YouTube earlier is boring when you get it, no excitement at all. Right. It is. Stability, pricing, well, technically stability, positioning, and pricing. That's the order. Stability, positioning, and pricing. Once you have all three, it's bang, bang. Shawnee said, them deposits to Bank of America is exciting, however. Yes, it is. I love Bank of America. I love Chase. I love TD Bank. I love Citi. I love them all. They all good with me. They are all good. It ain't nothing like when you go to the teller. You know, well, depending on the bank that you go to. You go to teller and they be like, would you like your balance? See, there's only one reason that they asking you that, because they saw the balance. They don't ask you that if, you know, your balance ain't shit. You got a little balance, they like, anything else I can help you with? That's it. That's as far as it goes. They be looking at your account. They be like, goodness, Jesus. That's what it is. And they know that. See, subconsciously, they want to just write it down, like, or print it out for you. So they can see it on the paper, too. Like, damn, man. The hell you do? I'm telling you, psychology is crazy. That's what that is. Because I always want, like, I pay attention to stuff. Like, I really do. I be paying attention to what they do. Like, I'll be like, why y'all don't ask everybody that? And I realize, I'm like, oh, okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. See, and then eventually what happens is you get the special teller, the one over on the side in the corner. As soon as you walk in, they be like, come on over, Mr. Such and Such. You don't go in the regular line no more. That's exciting. When they run up on you like, oh, we got some new products available. We have some high yield this and high yield that. You'd be like, I just came in here to get some lollipops, actually. Yeah, all of that. All of that. Yes. The premium teller line. Or sometimes, depending on the bank, it's the business line. But with us, we don't got to bring the cash in the bank. You know, it's straight from Nadex, straight to your account. It's already there. What? Say it again, Shawnee. Capital LOVE. Come on, man. And that's really all we're doing. We're really just utilizing our skill to, put ourselves in a very powerful position of independence. That's all it is. That's why all of this is worth it. Like, people don't really appreciate the value of something until they start to really do it. But you have to appreciate the value of the process to do it. Because you can't do it without the process. Yes, truly a blessing. Yeah, he did say that. It's like, right, it's just like printing your own money. He's not lying. And we're doing it in a way that is very stress-free, not stressful. That's it. Plug in, rinse and repeat. That's funny that you're saying that, because one time I was having a conversation with the bank manager at one of the branches that I go to, and he was like, I've been trying to figure out what you do for a year. I said, why you ain't just ask me? He said, I just be watching people, just trying to figure it out. I said, okay. I said, now that you know, you understand. He says, yes, I do. Yes. Always. Always. No, well, from the conversation I was having with him, it's a conflict of interest if you're in banking or you're in investment banking to be involved with anything as far as investing goes. I know that there's a way around it, but that was the first thing he said to me. And then he was like, he's even more high profile because he's a manager. So it is funny though, because like the way that I be look, my appearance, it throws everybody off. It just throws it, like they just be thrown off. But that's what you do when you a boss. You dress however you feel like dressing. Some days it might be a hoodie and some sweats. Other days, you know, button-up shirt. And I might throw some gaiters on. You never know. Nah, I ain't gotta go that far, but I'm just saying. I could if I wanted to. Yes, and I clean up nice. Like I look good in the suit. I ain't gonna lie. I look pretty alright. Right. Three-piece suit, baby. Yeah, you know what it is. TA is the answer. Yeah, Jordans. Yep. I know, right? Looking like Morpheus. Yeah, but you know, so that that like that's the type of stuff that becomes exciting about what we do. You know, it's the after effects. The banks, man. That's very exciting. It really is. You know, building relationships and connections. Credit score crazy. Like when your credit score is crazy and you got and you liquid, sheesh. They'd be like, yo. and quiet though at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, the people. I'm telling you, the people that work in the bank be bugging out, because regular people don't know. You just look regular. You look like a regular person just walking in the bank. You know, like I'm not flossy and none of that. I don't do none of that really. I just be chilling. You got, you know, safe deposit boxes. Straight got gold, silver, physical, precious metals, all type of stuff, just wealth. They do that from time to time. Like I've had conversations with them about just different things, because they told me about a whole nother type of like banking relationship that exists that they don't advertise. You start to actually find out what the banks really be doing. They be like, yeah, well, you know, for our high net worth clients. I remember the first time that the manager said that to me. I said, what's that? He said, well, yeah, we have a separate desk. It's back here. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, they're like, nah, this ain't for everybody right here. This is, you know. He was like, what will happen is every time that you come in, they do facial recognition on the camera, so I was like, what? Yo, he was telling me all type of stuff. He was telling me like behind the scenes stuff that they be doing. They know that you're in the bank. As soon as you on the outside of the bank, they already saw you coming. The dude said they got software that does facial recognition. They get an alert, and they know that you're there. I was like, what? Nah, man. Like he was like it just was bugging me out a little bit. I was like, I don't know about all that. I don't know if I want you to know that I'm here. Yeah, I'm like, yo, I'm about to start wearing a mask or something. Y'all are bugging. Yeah, but this is all stuff that goes on. Like you'd be surprised the type of stuff that they be having going on when you in a certain bracket. But this is what you have in your hands. Like we joke and we laugh about stuff, but this is what you have in your hands. You literally can take this wherever you want to go. Yep. So then take the fan, or just turn the AC on. You know.
I can't because I can't hear the TV.
You don't need to hear no TV. You just said that you hot.
Yeah, but TV makes me not.
Then turn the TV up. It's all right.
The show isn't mad.
No, just turn it up. It's okay. Tell him I said that you could do it. Yep. So. Definitely good vibes, inspiration all the time. A lot to look forward to, you know. So again, if you guys have questions, please feel free to interject. You see that we talk about whatever. Would you say that fast option pricing movement is a sign of instability? Not necessarily. But actually, in the context of what you're asking, yes. Because when you say fast, as in flashing more, or fast as in the numbers changing faster? Yeah, because it depends. Definitely depends. There are times where the flashing will be less and the actual option pricing changes are stable. Like it's flashing less and the movement is kind of just overall more stable. And then there's times where it'll just price out right away. Typically, I would say when the market itself is stable, when the market starts to sync up and your option pricing begins to open up the window of opportunity, you'll see stability in that. Like the way that the option pricing will be presented. When you look at the position and you see how the market is in position, it's within range. Then you're looking at your option pricing. Option pricing is favorable. That pricing will be favorable and it will be more stable when you are in sync. Because the actual stability in the market itself means that if the market does move, it's moving slowly. And it's also moving with stability. Like it'll move and it'll stay wherever it's going. That consistency is like in agreement with the actual pricing of the option when it's in sync. And then the option reflects that same behavior that the market is doing. And that's why they sync up, because it means that the option pricing is like a mirror image of what the actual market is doing. Market is stable, option pricing is stable. Market's in position, you'll see that your pricing will be favorable. It all syncs up. But that's a good question, because you'll see so many different variations of what the option pricing does. And over time, you begin to pick up on the little nuances. Like you can get a lot from just looking at option pricing, as we already know. That, you know, if you're doing the OPE opens up a window of knowledge by just doing that exercise. Macquarie said option pricing moves similar to the way that the indicator moves when the market is stable and in sync. Yes. Moving and holding where it moves until it fully prices out. Exactly right. Yep. So actually, with what we're talking about now, this is giving clarity even more so to what in sync is. In sync is a more specific reference to stability being present and favorable option pricing being present when the market's in position. Does that make sense? So you got stability and you have favorable option pricing when the market's in position. That's in sync. More so than just option pricing. Because it's not isolated option pricing. It's option pricing when it's favorable as a result of the market being stable and in position at the same time. Does that make sense? Yes. That's what it is. But you understand what that means, though. Because it's just like saying, all right, the market is completely stable right now. The environment is excellent. But what does that mean? We just defined it. We just defined it. The indicative is stable. The price of the indicative is in position relative to a strike. The option pricing is favorable. And they all sync up together. So that's fruition. fruition. Akari said, yeah, because the market could be stable and in position showing you no pricing because it's not in sync. Exactly. There's one piece missing. One piece, and y'all see that all the time. All the time you see that. And you'll be looking like, damn, man, there's no pricing on here. You know, you kind of go through that. But it's okay and it's all good. Because the key is knowing that you have stability and positioning. You know that that's there. So you know that the only thing that is missing is the pricing. So once that pricing comes, it's bang. And all you're doing is just waiting it out. It's going to come. So I want to get a consensus of what are the things that simplify the whole process for you guys. Like, tell me specifically what simplifies everything for you. Something that you do every day. Quick glance by far. Stan said the play-by-play. Okay. Ramon likes play-by-play also. Okay. Akari, quick glance, recognizing the nuances of instability helps a lot. I do the OPE and the play-by-play all in a quick glance as well. Right. Through practice, you just incorporated it all, and that's very good. Because I don't think that you intentionally did that, but that's what just happens. It's like, whenever you elevate within your skill, you don't mean to. It's not like you sat there and it's like, yeah, man, I'm about to get this elevation. You're not doing it consciously. Elevation comes in through the subconscious. You just are there. You're doing it now. If that makes sense. And hopefully that, like what I'm saying now, is going to help someone to understand how you can track whether or not you're elevating. You know that you're elevating because you end up doing it. What you thought you would never do. Walker said, I spend way less of relevant time looking at the market as of recent. We getting there. We getting there. That sounded like less analysis paralysis right there. Shawnee said, just waiting on the market, that's the biggest thing I keep with me every day because of your example, Mark, more than the quick glance, OPE, play-by-play, range, etc. You said it earlier on the live. That hit different today. That's that elevation right there. That's it. Walker, play-by-play became unproductively addictive because my brain likes to make sense of shit that don't make sense. Well, one thing that I recognize that Walker has done since whatever day that was when we had that discussion, your self-awareness went through the roof. It's like you finally realize that you be doing that. And that's the first step to stop. You got to know that you're doing that. And now you can see the difference. Mind you, it hadn't even been a long time. It was about, what, a week later? But it makes such a difference when you switch. As soon as you make that switch. My car, yeah, I just started doing it. I remember I asked on the train a couple of weeks ago if I was doing the quick glance right or not. Yes, you did. I remember that. I remember that. Walker said exactly. No more trying to do that language BS. For real though. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Walker said, definitely feel like my intellect is accepted the process as is. There we go. There we go. Yep. Don't add nothing to it. Don't take nothing away from it. I remember when I first was talking about the quick glance, there were people that had a hard time accepting it. Because it was, you know, anytime you, the simpler that you make it, the harder it is to accept. That's what I found. People have a hard time accepting simple shit. It's crazy. But that's, I don't, you know, I guess it's just the nature of us as human beings at first. That's the first nature. Like, nah, I can't be that simple. When it is. So I remember when I started like doing the quick glance, and really the way I discovered the quick glance, I actually just did my process. Like I literally just was on the training, and I said, this is what I be doing. I took the chart off and just went through it. I said, all right, I'm looking next. And everybody was like, that's it? Like, yeah, like what else is there to see? If you don't see anything, you have no reason to look into the market in more detail at that moment. You got no reason to look. Next. And then I was showing what I be doing. Like I think I had the Sopranos open. How I go right back to watching the Sopranos. Or I go back to watching the training. And I did that. Like on the training. So you could see what I was doing. And if I wasn't doing that, I was watching the clowns on the escalator. So, simplicity, man. Oh, yeah. Binary Walker, right? O's and ones and O's. Yep. I remember that whole period. Sean said, quick glance and mobile was like peanut butter and jelly. They fit together so well. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yep, just another level of elevation. Walker said he was determined to see the market on a high level without realizing I was overlooking the foundation. Man, oh man. Akari said, true that about the mobile makes the process a lot easier when you know how to utilize quick glance. Yep. Because your work is done immediately. Or is he 67, 61 on the sell side? Then I just look at this. Look at the indicative. And the beauty of it is, like, when you first come on the chart, you immediately get the information that you need to know where you are right away. You know exactly where you are. And if you know where you are, you always know how to get to the next point in your actual your trip, your journey. Like, I like the references to navigation because it's 100% applicable. The reason that GPS works is because it always knows where you are. Think about it for a second. When you first map the trip on your GPS, it calculates based on where you are to where you're going. Now, as you driving, if you do something else, you might go off track. What does the GPS do? It reroutes. What is the reroute based on? It's based on where you are. So no matter what, it always tracks from where you are and then recalculates based on where you are now. That's exactly how we move in the market. I could have left. If I leave the chart, when I come back, the GPS is still on. It just reroutes. The reroute is, all right, let me do the quick glance real quick, see where we at. Boom. All right, I see where we at. Just relax, wait. It's powerful stuff, man. Yep, summary of the market. Exactly. All right, y'all. Another awesome training. So this training will be available within about a half hour. We'll be back on training tomorrow night, same time, same place. I will see you guys momentarily in the group chat. And everybody have an awesome night. That is correct. Ramon said always tries to stabilize back to the true position of the object in observation. Mic drop. Good night.